welcome to this week's WIBA, which stands for Wisdom Inspired by Abba. This week we're going to talk about absolute truth. Absolute truth, with all that's going on in the world right now, is a little bit hard to find. We saw many incidences where people were less than telling the truth. They were hedging and they were saying things that weren't quite right. So I felt it important this week that we talk about absolute truth. Because if you live your life in truth, if you live your life the way you should, then you will find that things go much better. I want to share 3 verses with you this week. They're all going to be out of King James Version. We're going to talk about how we can walk in absolute truth. Because Abba, your Father, is pure, absolute truth. What He said will come to pass. He's never lost a battle. He's never done anything contrary to His word. So it gives us the roadmap by which we can know how to live, which will help us be happier, which will help us to walk in a much better path, not have to deal with so many problems. So let's go this week. We're going to start in 2 Samuel 22, verse 31. And it says, as for God, or as for Abba, His way is perfect. Now the reality is, if we truly believe that, we could pretty much just stop right there, because everything that Abba, your Father, is belongs to you, and His ways are perfect. So that means that His love for you, His care, His concern is perfect in every way. There is no gray area. There is no He's thinking about it. It says His ways are perfect. It goes on and says, the word of the Lord is tried. All throughout the book called the Bible, we see circumstances come up and arise. And in every situation, when people trust in the truth of Abba, their Father, He always wins the battle. He always brings them through. He always makes a way when there seemed to be no way. Many situations you look at and say, oh no, there's no way they would get out of that situation. But Abba's true word and ways made a way for them to come out. And it says that He is a buckler. Now, buckler's not a word we use a lot, but a buckler was a small shield. So when warriors were going to hand combat, they would have their buckler. And when they stood and fought, it would knock down swords. It would keep arrows from hitting them. And it says that He, Abba, your Father, is a buckler. That means He goes before you. He protects you. When things come against you, that shield goes up in front of you. And that's Him whose ways are perfect. He cannot lie, and His truth says He loves you, He cares about you, and He will make a way for you. So that buckler is there on your behalf to protect you, to keep you from getting slayed, to keep you from getting taken out of the battle or the situation. Now, how do you know Abba is going to do that for you? Well, if you read the end of that 31st verse, it says, He is a buckler to all them who trust in Him. So today, if you trust in Abba, your Father, if you trust in His ways, He will be that buckler for you. He will be that protection. He will be that shield that stands in the way of things coming against you. How wonderful that is to know that when you get in the midst of the battle and the situation, that Abba, your Father, stands in the middle between you and the problem. So there are those that would love to kill you and destroy you. Matter of fact, Abba's word says the devil roams around like a lion seeking whom he may devour. He wants to tear you apart. He wants to mess your life up. But that buckler, Abba, your Father, can stand in between, and you can stand strong, and you will win the battle. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? Let's go on and see what else Abba, our Father, does for us. Going to Proverbs, the 3rd chapter, verses 5 and 6. It says, trust in the Lord, or trust in Abba, your Father, with all your heart. If you trust with all your heart, if you know inside, hey, it does not matter what things are looking like. It doesn't matter how dark things may seem. It doesn't matter what the circumstances seem to be. I'm going to trust in Abba, my Father. I know that He is there for me. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not unto your own understanding. Oh my goodness. We all have to deal with that. How many times have we said, oh, I can handle this. I can just do it on my own. And I can assure you that most of the time when that happens, you end up in a royal mess. But if you lean on Abba, your Father, His ways are so perfect and so true that there is no way you will lose the battle. He will fight for you. He will go before you. He will make that way for you. What do you have to do? You have to know Him as Abba, your Father, and you have to trust in Him and not lean unto your own ways. When you get up in the morning, you say, good morning, Abba, my Father. This will be a great day, and you and I shall go through it together, for I know you will make a way for me no matter what I have to face. And that's what Abba will do. Now, verse 6 goes on and says, in all your ways acknowledge Him. If you acknowledge Him, like we just talked about, He will direct your path. He will make sure you are headed down the right path. He will make sure that you are walking in the way that you should. And you may say, well, yeah, but a problem comes up and arises. Well, that happens in life. But you say, Abba, my Father, you knew about this before I got into it. So therefore, through your truth and through your understanding, you already know how I'm going to come through it. You already know how I will come out on the other end and be victorious. Isn't that wonderful today? All thy ways acknowledge Him, and Abba, your Father, will direct your paths. The last verse I want to share with you today comes from Psalms 18, verse 2. The Lord, Abba, your Father, is your rock. Man, when your house is built on a solid foundation, there is nothing that can move it. When you are built on a solid foundation and Abba, your Father, is in your life and directing your life and being that shield and that buckler for you, He is your rock. He is your fortress. You're feeling downtrodden today. If you're feeling like everything's coming against you, you can run into the fortress of Abba, your Father, and He will protect you. And it goes on to say, and He is your deliverer. My God, my Abba, my strength, in whom I will trust. Trust in Abba, your Father, and you see what He will do for you. And again, it comes and says, my buckler, you are the horn of my salvation. You are the high and the mighty. You are the horn. You know, back in the book when they were fighting battles in the Old Testament in the Bible, they would sound the trumpets in victory. Abba is the horn sounding of your salvation. There is a sound that goes forth, that goes before you, that makes a way, because Abba, your Father, is fighting for you. And the last part of that says, and you are my high tower. My friend, whatever you're facing today, the verses we have read have told us that Abba, your Father, He's your shield, He's your buckler, He's your protector, He's your way maker, He's your deliverer. He will fight the battle for you. So if you've tuned in today and you're facing something that seems that it's about to overcome you, you can say, Abba, my Father, I give it all to you. I cannot figure it out. I do not understand why all this is coming against me. But you, my Father, I know you will make a way. So I rest in you. I don't try to do it in and of myself, but I rest in you. And Abba just smiles and says, watch, child, and see what I do for you. So my friend, I thank you for joining me today. Remember these scriptures. Remember how much Abba, your Father, loves you. And make sure you tune in every week. Tell your friends about the WIBA show, which is wisdom inspired by Abba. We will study His Word. We will study His Scriptures and make an impact in your life that will totally change the way you live and the way you walk.